Hello there, and welcome to 3Spoonies. We're your hosts, Karen, Claire, and Joe. In this episode, number 3, we'll be discussing contingency planning, what to do to stop things going wrong, and then what to put in place when it inevitably goes pear-shaped anyway. Join us as we dive in. Hello, this is Karen from Pony Pony Pony.
I'm Claire from Sparkle's Gift Boutique.
And I'm Joe of Bright Cat Business Solutions.
Together, we are 3Spoonies, navigating our way through life and business with not enough spoons. So today we are going to be talking about contingency planning. I think in our lives we've discovered things don't always go to plan. So sometimes you need a plan B, a plan C, or even a bit further down the alphabet. So we're going to talk to you about some things you can put in place to help make life easier if things don't go quite as you originally planned it.
Because why not? One of the things I know we have talked about is kind of making sure we have time to rest for us. And obviously, I work my business around my health and Dylan's health and everything else. So one of the things I do first and foremost is for when I'm taking orders. I always say to people, it's a 7 to 10 working day turnaround. It generally doesn't take that long, but I kind of give myself that buffer so that if I'm having a few bad days or I can't do something because of someone else is ill or stuff like that, I've got the backup. People know what they're expecting. And I think having that up front makes a big difference. Although I still do get the odd person that will put an order through at like 10:30 at night and message me in the morning and be like, how's my order?
I was asleep.
I'm like, I was asleep, I've not seen it. And I'm just like, and it's at the top of the website, 7 to 10 working days. And even if people order from me directly, I always kind of will give a time frame because I don't know what's going to get thrown in my life or thrown at me. And it's just kind of managing it around that. I think that
Okay.
is.
I do the same. I tend to ask clients when their deadline is for something, and I will give myself a deadline before that just in case it all goes wrong. And I'm also upfront with clients that I am chronically ill, and if something is going to take longer than I expect, I will let them know. And no one's ever had an issue with that.
I think that being upfront and honest about it, and we don't hide that we suffer with chronic pain or that we're struggling. We're very open about it, and because people know that, they're a lot more understanding. And I think whereas if we were trying to hide it, maybe, and then it'd be like, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, it's a sensible thing to do anyway, even if you're feeling all right at the moment and everything seems to be on track. It's like the way that if you're planning in a meeting, you leave a bit over just in case it overruns. I don't think there's ever harm in leaving just a bit of a buffer at either side, just so you do have a bit of wiggle room, just in case, because, things happen. There could be a random power cut and your router goes out, or, all these things that with the best will in the world, as much as you plan for things, occasionally things don't quite happen as you wanted.
Yeah, no, there's always something that can get in the way, and just it's good to have that buffer, just to be like, oh, well, I'm prepared. You don't know you're prepared, and your client's also prepared, and they kind of know what to expect from you as well. So yeah, I think the first contingency is like just setting up those guidelines so that everyone knows where they stand. What are contingency planning things that you're looking for in the future?
In the future, my contingency is to have a team of associates who are actually doing the work. So I'm not reliant on those deadlines. I can spend the energy I have finding new work and just managing it, making sure everything's going fine. However, that is in the future. Right now, it's me doing the work. So I have to keep ahead of myself on things like that, including my own stuff. I like everything to be done before it needs to be done, in case, there are those days I can't work.
Yeah. What about you, Karen?
Yeah, longer term, I definitely like to have a team and also maybe some other streams that aren't so reliant on me. Some things where that's not going to work. So I've had people suggest, well, can't you record your lessons? And it's like, well, that's great. But if I've got a 6-month-old thing on Instagram and they've moved all the buttons around and now it's called something else, it's basically completely useless. So there's some things that aren't going to work, but maybe there's things that I could put in place that people could download as and when, and sort of more bits and bobs in the background to, again, give a little bit of a buffer if I do have, a while when it's just not going to happen. I can't make myself do anymore and I need to take time off, which, ideally won't get to that point, and I've built enough breaks and things beforehand, and holiday time as well, like actual proper weeks off. It's fine saying, oh, well, I had a 37-minute break here, and, but it's like, take actual holiday time is so valuable to just be able to switch your brain off. And again, as long as you let people know in advance, they're generally fine with that. I've never had it be a problem as long as you've made it clear, like with you, Claire, you'll say, get your orders in before this date because I'm going to be in Iceland or whatever else,
Yeah. Must admit, I think that's the first time I've been like, I'm going to take a break, and actually stuck to taking that break because I'm in another country. I can't work. Because if I take a break, like in the holidays with Dylan, and we're kind of up, like we do things in the day, but then we might be at home in the morning or evening, I'll end up working.
Mm.
Or I'm like, oh, I can just go upstairs, I can get my laptop out. Or I'm like, oh, I've got this new that I want to kind of test. And I'm just like, so I don't always get those breaks in. So going to another country really helps. Take a proper, like, I think getting out, having a holiday where you're out the house, like when you, Joe, went to, was it the Lake District?
I went to the Lake District for a week. I mean, I did check my emails, but everybody knew I was away. I did have one client say, oh, I've got an emergency, can you help? No, I'm in the Lake District. And they were fine with it, but they forgot I was away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still checked my emails when I was in Iceland, did take my laptop, and I did do a little bit of work on it in the evenings when Dylan was already kind of settling down for the night. But, I can't physically make things, so I had to take that break. And the first 2 days, it was so weird.
Yeah, it takes me a while to switch off. Unfortunately, when I have switched off, I struggle to get back into things.
Isn't it? It's like, you're just like, oh, I've had that break. And it's like, right, how do I get that motivation going?
Although maybe that's the thing, like you've said, if it's a rarity to take the breaks, if you're more used to doing it,
I've
then
always been workaholic, so I've always struggled with it.
Same. It's always been a thing of, I think even when I was younger and I worked, I'd like have like a 30-hour-a-week contract and end up working like 60, 70 hours a week. I've, I've kind of always given it my all, and I do exactly the same with this. And this is my baby, so it's my business, and it's like I don't mind putting in the extra hours. But yeah, no, it can be hard for sure.
Can. I would add that planning for things that you know is going to cause problems, like for example, when we travel, we have learnt, well, we already knew, but then it was sort of reinforced that we can't do something traveling on the same day, do an event, and then travel back. It will absolutely destroy us. I mean, me and Karen went to the Small Business Sunday event. By 10 a.m., I was on strong painkillers. By midday, I wanted to cry. I was in that much pain and just sleep. So no, we have to travel the day before, stay an extra night, which costs more money, but you need to pace yourself, and that sort of goes with everything, because if you hit that tipping point, there's a problem. So you have to sort of plan in these types of things, especially if you're going away out to an event.
I suppose when you're planning that as well, it's kind of the extra money it's costing you. It's like, right, I need to make sure that's kind of covered in with that planning.
Yeah.
Mm. And on the other hand, if that means you're then getting the most out of the event, if you talk to some people you wouldn't have talked to before, if you got to set some things up, exchange more business cards, if you put things in place, and it's like, yes, it was more money and more time, but I got way more out of it because I wasn't in survival mode, which is not where any of us operate at our best, I feel.
No, absolutely not.
No, we don't do well in survival mode.
No.
I mean, one of the other things I'm doing contingency wise to help me with that buffer of not having to do everything myself because I'm a control freak, I have set up a small group of affiliates, and I do want to expand on that, because one of the things I hate about kind of things is I don't like social media. I just find it really, like, I've done Karen's courses and they are really good and I've learned so much, and it's really good I've learned to kind of do well at what I do on there in the places I like. But I just find it there's so much crap out there and so much pointless stuff. And I just find it really overwhelming. I go to post things and I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to write. I do know what to write. I just can't put it into words to type it down. So I want to grow my affiliates more so they can do all my advertising for me and I can just make things. And then I'm in my happy place and just grow it that way. And kind of like you said about kind of having your group of people to work for you and manage it from the back a bit.
Yeah, take a step back.
Yeah, definitely.
So while we're talking about our happy places, it's time for Spoons Full of Loveliness. Here's loads of lovely things from our sponsors.
Snoap is revolutionising the way we approach personal hygiene with its innovative solid soap and shampoo dispenser. This unique device is designed to hold 2 bars, transforming them into a powdery form for optimal use. These bars provide over 2,000 hand washes, 333 showers, or 666 hair washes. They pride themselves on being cruelty-free, largely vegan, and entirely free from single-use plastic. Snoap is dedicated to nurturing your skin and hair, protecting the environment, and offering economic benefits. Today, we have a special offer for our listeners. Lady Snoap has generously provided a unique discount code of Spoonies Love Snoap, which entitles you to an extra 15% off your purchase. How marvellous. Head to www.snoap.com to take advantage of this exceptional offer and start shopping today. Dragon Virtual Assistant Limited began in 2006 and provides flaming good business support, allowing you to free up your time to focus on making more money by growing your business, pursuing the more interesting aspects that you went into business for in the first place, or even having time to take a break. Here to help with the anxiety-inducing tech, email and diary management, and staying on top of your admin. Visit the website for more information about how Amanda can help you. If you love what you do, but hate the paperwork it generates, then you need flaming good business support. Do you ever feel like the business world just isn't built for your unique brain? You're not alone. Millions of neurodivergent entrepreneurs struggle to find the connections and support they need to thrive. This is where the Neuro Network comes in. By building a community of neurodivergent business owners built on unmasked connections, fostering genuine collaboration, you can forget forced networking and awkward small talk. Embrace your authentic self because great minds don't think alike, and that's what makes them great. Join exciting events, workshops, and online forums. Find your tribe, share your ideas, and take your business to the next level. Find them on Instagram at neuro_networking and unleash your full potential.
Hello, welcome back. And we are talking more about contingency planning.
Yes, we are. So, Karen, I'm going to pick on you now. Not literally. What do you have in place at the moment, contingency-wise, and what do you want to kind of do in the near future to make life a bit easier?
Yeah, I have my spreadsheets for a minimum amount I need to be doing, a minimum amount of money I need to be bringing in for everything to work. And I like to have things planned in advance. So I know I've got this and this coming in. So if all else fails, I've still got a roof over my head and I can afford to eat. So then beyond then, everything else is a bonus. So for me, I couldn't wake up each day and go, right, today I need to get 7 people onto a course this afternoon. Like, it would absolutely wreck my head. That wouldn't work. I have to know what's working. And again, sort of having things in the pipeline in terms of collaborations. There's some people I've spoken to, and we're looking at doing some things together, sort of bringing in some of those outside skills again, which is a new project and at first can be a bit scary, but in the long term, if it works, that's an amazing collaboration with 2 of us putting the effort in rather than just one. So I feel for me, that's probably the way forwards, to be honest.
It's a good plan. I like it. It's very, yeah, I like that one. And I mean, I think I know what I've said about my affiliates and growing them. I think one of my big things for me would be like someone to manage my website and
Mm.
all those little bits, because it's crazy the amount of time you can spend on this or your graphics. I mean, that's what I'm going to be paying Joe and Ben for, because graphics, yeah. But someone that can upload it all for me, make sure the website's up to date, everything's working as it should be, and because I think one of my hardest things is outsourcing sometimes,
Mm.
but then if I don't outsource and something goes wrong with me, it's like there's no backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I think outsourcing is a really key thing for anyone, especially when you're kind of struggling with less spoons.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'd agree with that. I mean, I've for a while, I don't currently, but for a while I had a copywriter doing all my blogs. I want to get back to that again. Obviously, we have Gary video editing this and publishing it, because then we could do it. Well, I could do it myself, but I've only got so much energy, and I need that for client work and finding new clients. So yeah, if the more of my marketing efforts I can sort of outsource, despite the fact marketing is what I do, that gives me those little bit of extra spoons to do other things. And it's all about where I'm putting my energy.
Mm.
Yeah, it's because there's always so much we do for like client work, but then you forget. Yeah, but then I know I'm really good for this, and I bet you two are as well. It's like, oh, I need to do stuff for me.
Yeah.
I keep several months ahead of myself, or I will like run out of time, run out of energy, and then it can take me 6 months to pick it up again, which is not what you want.
No, that can definitely be a thing. Have you got any tips for people with contingency planning?
Plan within an inch of your life. Know what where you should be on any given day. Really plan if you're having to do something that would take more energy than you would normally need for your day-to-day activities. Make sure you've got time before and after, because that lack of energy will sneak up on you. But yeah, if you use a calendar, block out that time, and block out that time for you, and make it non-negotiable. I'm bad at that, by the way.
I think we all are. Karen, what are your tips?
For me, it's do things in chunks where you're at your best. If you're not a morning person, don't have important meetings first thing, because you may not come across quite so well as you think you do, potentially. Or it's that thing to put together, say, 10 social media posts at once isn't 10 times as much effort as doing the one, because you're already kind of on a roll with it. So it can be put similar tasks together so you can get lots of them done and get ahead of yourself. Because as soon as you've got any sort of time advantage that you're effectively living in the future, then you can feel far more justified to say, I'm now going to go and eat some cake or play a game or have a massage or whatever else.
She's like, have a nap.
Or have a nap, yeah. That and naps, have a nap, come back refreshed, and do better than you would have if you hadn't, rather than trying to push through it. And, when you realize you've spent 10 minutes staring at the wall, no, there is no advantage to any one of you staring at that wall. It's not a thing.
Yeah, I think down. I've definitely been there. The worst one is when you get your brain fog with it, and you're just like,
You don't realise you're staring at that wall.
no, it's like you have the intention to do something, and you're just like, why am I here? It can be quite bad. I mean, I love a list to write of like all my things to do. It can end up being a really long list, but I do it in a weird way. So I'll write my list, and it can be like a whole A4 page of stuff that I'm like, but it's things for like to do now, bits for the month, and then I've got a weekly planner, and I will divide it into days and take from that list and put onto there. So I have a bit of a structure, but then I can also, if I deviate from it, it's okay,
Mm.
because I will try and do the really urgent stuff first and phase in the stuff that if I miss a bit, it's okay.
I use Monday.com. So I used to just have big red blocks that said such and such as client work. And that can be overwhelming in my calendar. So now I break it down into exact tasks, give myself a deadline for it. It goes red and says critical if I'm on the day, which I don't particularly like. So I like to get rid of it. But then I can see exactly what needs doing and when. And every time I have a meeting with a client, I will then add in what they want me to do and into my list. So I can see it. And it's also broken down into client work, my stuff, and stuff for the BSN community.
Ooh, I like that. So is that, I'm guessing that's like is it like a spreadsheet kind of layout? I feel like I need something like this.
Sort of, yeah. It's basically a task list, and you can click done, and it goes, woo, it's great.
I mean, if I get this and it doesn't go, woo, I'm going to be really disappointed. I digress. I'm being silly. What other things do we do? I feel like we've covered a lot of them. I don't think there's anything else that I do. I'm trying to kind of manage a better work-life balance. So I'm trying to. I am doing a little bit better, and I'm trying to kind of do it that I cut off working by a certain time to be more present at home. But I think it goes back to that working from home thing. It's like if Dylan's like, I'm not spending time with you, I'm going to my room. Ricky's got the football and he's gaming. I'm just like, well, instead of taking time for me, I'll go and work. And I think even with the contingency stuff, it's you have to put the you time in there to have a bit of downtime and rest. And I feel like that's going to be a very popular theme going through this.
It is. I mean,
Look after yourself.
Yeah, look after yourself. I'm really bad at it, especially at the moment with my gaming computer needing fixing. When I would normally be gaming and doing my downtime at that point, it's like, well, I can't do that. I might as well do some work, or I'm asleep. At the moment, it's a lot of sleep. Are you shocked? But yeah, it's like just little things like that. It's like, well, I can't do that. I might as well work, because if my brain's working, I tend to work.
Depends how active your brain can be at the time.
Well, it can also be sort of working on the short term and the medium term. So I stopped doing to-do lists because I would have something that was like the length of a fax roll and there'd be 57 million things on it. And we all know there will be things that will be on the next week and the week after that I'm never going to do. So I do to-do lists when it's each day, focus on 3 things that you have to get done, either for that day or put something in place for the future. And then anything you do is a bonus, which can also help with, those days where you go, oh, I've not actually done anything. And you look at it and you go, oh, well, actually, I had that meeting and that's looking at something I might do in 3 months. And I put this and this in place, which means I can do this thing later. So it's sort of that mix between things I need to get done today and things I'm putting in place for later to make it easier for me 3 months, 6 months, however long down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I used to, because I have to track my time with client work so I know where I'm at. It's very rare they actually ask for the timings, but I need to know where they're at with their posting. I used to time everything I did, including my own stuff, if I was networking. So if I had a day when I went, I don't think I've done anything, because I haven't done any client work, I could still see exactly what I'd done and how many hours I'd done. I've actually gotten lazy and stopped doing that and just do it for client work at the moment, but I should get back to doing that. Because some days you go, I don't feel like I've done anything, but you've had a full day.
Yeah, it's definitely easy like that when I had one like that recently. And I'm just like, oh, I haven't done anything. And I had to go back through it. I'm like, well, no, I've actually done quite a bit. But I think for me as well, it's like if I'm doing an admin day, then I definitely feel like I haven't done anything, even though I have. Whereas if I've had a really creative day and been making loads of things, I feel more accomplished.
Yeah.
Although I do find, especially time-wise, Karen will know what it's called. It's where you time it for like
Pomodoro.
Yes, I find sometimes if I really need to focus, I can find that really helpful. And then I'm just like in between that, I'll be like, right, I'll have a cup of tea, sort of washing over or something, and then I'll come back and do like another 20 minutes and be like, that can be some really good quality time for work.
I find if I really focus and actually manage it, I could lose hours and forget to eat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we've all got that thing where you get into that flow thing, and it's brilliant when you're there, but it's when you get to the other side and it's like, oh, well, I should have taken my meds and had a drink of water and stretched, and now I'm going to be like this for the next 4 days and I can't move.
It's like you
And
go to get out of the chair and you're like, nothing wants to move.
yeah, I'm reconsidering all my life choices that led me to this moment.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely done that a few too many times. I think we've all done that a few too many times. And oh, I'm going to throw in a really good contingency. Have a good support system,
Absolutely.
because we found each other through networking, and we've become really like networking besties, I'd call it. I'm stealing Karen's words, but we have. And you know, we support each other on a daily basis. We always check in on each other. We know when someone, even if they're like, you know, we're very honest as well about how we're feeling. And we're very good at nagging each other to go and rest and look after yourself. And I think having that support of people that understand your limitations and how you're feeling, it's a really important thing.
Mm.
It is. I mean, I find it really useful on two fronts. One, if we're having a bad day, we will make each other rest. We will make sure we look after ourselves. But on the other one, if when you're having those days when you've got no motivation, but you could be doing something, just sitting chatting on Zoom while I'm working is so useful.
Yeah, we can get so much done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and sometimes you just need to talk through something. You know, like when you say something out loud, and as soon as you've said it, you go, "Oh, I know what the answer is." But if you'd not said it, you never would have come to it. Or just to sort of have a bit of reassurance. You know, does that sound okay? That sounds okay. Good. Yeah, that sounds okay. Right. Yeah.
Sometimes if you just like, if I'm having a bit of an idea on like a new product or something, I'll be to you guys like, oh, what do you think? Like, it's good to get the feedback on things and just a bit of advice. So yeah, I think having a supportive community, and it doesn't have to be a massive community, you know, just having that couple of people that can really support you and be there for you. I think that's a really good, I think that's up there in contingency planning because you've got that support. I think that covers everything, unless you two can think of anything else that I've missed.
No?
No, I think we've covered a fair bit there. So go us. Go team. So thank you for joining us for 3Spoonies on contingency planning. We'd love to know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for our weekly podcast and leave us a review on your favourite podcasting platform. You can find us on social media, and we'd love it if you'd join us in the Business Success Network for Disabled Entrepreneurs Facebook group. You can also buy us a coffee if you like what we do. All the links will be in the show notes. We'll see you next week for some community questions. So have a great day and keep track of your spoons.